Hello, I'm Alejandra Castillo, and I am pleased to serve President Biden and our nation as U.S. Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Economic Development. I'd like to thank the Native American Finance Officers Association for inviting me to join you. I appreciate NAFOA's mission of supporting the advancement of independent and culturally vibrant American Indian and Alaskan Native communities. It's great to engage with so many tribal leaders, state, nonprofit, and business professionals today. I hope you are enjoying the conference, whether in person, in San Antonio, or virtually. I thank you all for coming together to collaborate and explore ways to create economic opportunities in your communities. Under President Biden's leadership, the federal government is coordinated to ensure that our tribal nations and indigenous communities have the resources they need to thrive today and build the resilient economies of the future. The Economic Development Administration, also known by its acronym EDA, is committed to strengthening tribal sovereignty and self-governance and the goal of the fulfillment of federal trust responsibilities and treaty obligations to tribal nations. By working together, we will recover from this current health crisis and build back better. By gaining valuable information on available finance options, you will create economic opportunity. I am excited to share how the U.S. Economic Development Administration can support your efforts. First, EDA has been allocated $3 billion under President Biden's American Rescue Plan to assist communities nationwide in their efforts to build back better. We will do this by supporting your locally driven strategies designed to accelerate the economic recovery from the coronavirus pandemic and building strong local economies. Known collectively as Investing in America's Communities, this EDA investment is the largest economic development initiative from the Department of Commerce in decades. With an emphasis on equity, EDA's investments made under the American Rescue Plan will directly benefit previously underserved communities impacted by COVID-19. On July 22nd, Secretary Raimondo announced the 6 programs that EDA is now executing to equitably invest this vital funding. Through our Indigenous Communities Program, EDA is allocating $100 million in American Rescue Plan funding specifically for Indigenous communities, which, as you know, were disproportionately impacted by the pandemic. This program is designed to support the needs of tribal governments and Indigenous communities. This is a historic investment as it is the first time that EDA has designated a unique funding stream for tribes. EDA will support these important partners to develop and execute economic development projects that they need to recover from the pandemic and build economies for the future. Under the Indigenous Communities Funding Opportunity, all awards will be made at the 100% grant rate, meaning no matching funds required. A wide range of technical, planning, workforce development, entrepreneurship, and public works and infrastructure projects are eligible for funding under this program. Eligible entities under this EDA program include Indian tribes or consortiums of Indian tribes, a public or private nonprofit organization or association serving Native Hawaiians, a public or private nonprofit organization or association serving Native Pacific Islanders of Guam, American Samoa, the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, the Republic of the Marshall Islands, the Federated States of Micronesia, or the Republic of Palau. State-recognized tribes, unrecognized tribes, and nonprofits that do not fall within these parameters are not eligible. Importantly, tribal organizations and Indigenous communities are also eligible and encouraged to apply for our 5 other American Rescue Plan programs. These other 5 programs include the Build Back Better Regional Challenge, which will invest $1 billion in up to 30 regions to capitalize on American ingenuity and American workers by providing a transformational investment to regions across the country. The Good Jobs Challenge, which allocates $500 million towards industry-led workforce training programs to help get Americans particularly women, people of color, and those in underserved communities, back to work in good-paying jobs. We are also injecting $500 million in economic adjustment assistance into our communities. These grants will help hundreds of communities across the national plan to build, innovate, and put people back to work through projects tailored to meet local needs. Through the Travel, Tourism, and Outdoors Recreation Program, $750 million of EDA's American Rescue Plan funds are allocated to support these vital sectors. Additionally, $90 million in statewide planning, research, and network grants include funding for state planning efforts and, of particular interest to you, grants to build communities of practice to extend technical assistance to support EDA's work with grantees is also available. EDA is making a coal community commitment allocation of $300 million to ensure support to these communities as they recover from the pandemic and create new jobs and opportunities, including through the creation or expansion of a new industry sector. Each of these programs will benefit tribal and indigenous communities, and we are committed to distributing this critical assistance equitably. In fact, equity is our first investment priority. Our traditional economic development programs can also be of substantial assistance to you. At EDA, we understand that communities are at different points on their economic development journey. Some need help developing a plan and figuring out where to start their economic development efforts. Others need critical infrastructure support to support businesses' expansion. And still, others may need help building ecosystems to translate innovation into jobs. From planning to infrastructure, we can help you at every step along the way. Next, I'd like to note that over the next few days, EDA will update its regulation to make our grants more accessible to Indigenous communities. The new rule, to be published in the Federal Register, extends EDA tribal eligibility to include for-profit entities that are wholly owned by or established for the benefit of a tribe. This action follows a government-to-government consultation in April between EDA and tribal leaders and their representatives, who were broadly supportive of the eligibility expansion. It is a result of EDA's ongoing effort to meet the needs of our tribal communities and to increase their participation. Through this rule change, EDA hopes to increase the number of tribal applications for the further benefit of those communities. I'd like to mention as I close that EDA and NAFOA are planning a webinar to further inform you of this important rule change. The webinar will take place in October. Please keep an eye on eda.gov and sign up for our news for more information on this, our American Rescue Plan, and other funding opportunities. I thank the Native American Finance Officers Association for their participation. I look forward to our continued work together. Together, we will build back better. Please continue to enjoy the conference, and thank you.